up as John Miller, waited for Dennison to wake Ed up, and pretended to jump off the bridge. But wearing a harness with a rope hook to it, she hid right under the bridge and put the disguise and the climbing equipment in the duffel bag, while Dennison made sure Ed didn't jump and called the police.
There was a men's suit and a bag we found under the bridge, which Faye wore to look like John Miller, who'd committed suicide by jumping off the same bridge. There was also a neuroleptic, likely used to put Ed Miller to sleep. Rock climbing equipment, key to a vehicle we have yet to identify.
Maybe it was her getaway car.
Maybe. Faye reenacted with total precision the accident in which Mattie Miller died. As well as her daughter. Ed Miller claims that his daughter, the new Jenny, was in the car. But the only evidence we have of her existence is a picture found on Faye's phone.
On top of that, Faye wanted to make extra sure to frame Ed, so she planted a gun in the car, the exact same one that killed Samuel Franklin, and a bottle of whiskey, which is exactly what John Miller had been drinking before he killed himself. Ed has several issues that are not usually seen together. To start with, the death of his family at the hand of his father, which contributed to his becoming the most cynical patient I've ever treated. Then, there's the repression of that trauma, spurred on by his Aunt Claire. And finally, somebody arriving who was capable of harnessing that trauma to intentionally drive him crazy.
And is that the case? Is he crazy?
Crazy is a very relative term, but if Faye's aim was to strip him of his sanity, she did not manage to do so.
Frankly, after 4 days of searching, I'm starting to lose hope. I really want to believe she's still alive, but
something tells me we'll find her.
I hope so. Thanks.
Well, I'd say I've got a pretty clear picture. Let's look at the file.
Great. This is Lisa Horwitz, the day she graduated from Yale as a psych major, also as valedictorian. Anything come to mind? This isn't her best picture, but it's pretty clear this could be the same person.
Faye told Ed that she just graduated as a psych major.
So it all adds up. Her studies would explain why she had knowledge of the narcotic effects of that drug, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Let's see what the file says. Daughter of Peter and Marlene Horowitz, upper middle class. They were well off. They both died when Lisa was a little girl. Should we stick the picture on the board or skip to the next one?
I can see a few connections here.
You're the boss.
She was orphaned at a very young age. Her story resembles Ed's. How did her parents die? Could she have...
No. Cancer, colon and throat, within the span of about 2 years.
I guess her family's social standing explains why a 23-year-old girl would have $10,000 on hand to give to Dennison.
Right, though with everything she seems to have done, I wouldn't be surprised if she got the money through other, less legal means. Now for the fun part. After her parents' death, she became depressed, self-harm, suicide attempts. She spent several months in the New Jersey psychiatric hospital, possibly the most expensive one in New England.
Rings a bell. I think a patient of mine went there. Who was it?
The night before she was going to be released, her best friend from the hospital got drunk and jumped off the roof of the building. Isn't it odd that her best friend from the hospital killed herself by jumping off a building and that she ended up the same way?
Yes. Maybe she jumped too. Maybe she was trying to emulate her. But why?
Her friend got drunk right before committing suicide by throwing herself over the ledge.
Like Miller's father.
Jeez. Why is everything so convoluted? Did Ed Miller, after everything that happened to him as a kid, never go to a psych hospital?
He almost did, but his Aunt Claire kept it from happening. She took him home to San Bernardino and essentially brainwashed him, burying most of his negative memories.
Isn't it ironic that a former psychiatric patient would pursue psychiatry?
It makes sense. A few people in my class had similar backgrounds. Some did it to get to know themselves better. Others wanted to give back, help people who had gone through something similar.
When she was released, Lisa went back to New York under the guardianship of her paternal grandmother, Diane Horowitz, who a few weeks later fell down the stairs, breaking her neck. What do we do with this one? Stick it there or pass?
Don't you feel like her grandmother's death is too much of a coincidence?
Yes, absolutely. What does this woman have against the elderly? Why does she go through so much trouble keeping Miller alive, but then go and kill his neighbor like it's nothing? This is from a couple of years ago. A climbing wall in her neighborhood in New York. Another coincidence?
There's no question. Lisa is our fae. What? You're still not sure?
I've been wrong too many times not to have my doubts. And this is from a few weeks ago. Lisa Horowitz applied for a position as a psychiatrist in training at the only psychiatric hospital in our county, and she got it. She's supposed to be starting at the end of the month, though I doubt she will.
Why would a wealthy young woman from New York with an outstanding academic record want to work at a hospital with such a poor reputation and so far from home?